Today is the 22nd of March. Yes, I missed the 18th. I totally forgot. It is spring break from college, and I think I spent the 18th at low tide walking around on like the beach. um there I live not that far from the waterfront, and it has been nice to have enough time to actually walk by the waterfront. Yeah, I just it totally slipped my brain. I have been doing so much stuff getting ready for a big massive event for the club, and I have been preparing an event that's inviting participants statewide. So have big, huge, giant name corporations and stuff involved and things like that. And yeah, I finished finals and was just very distracted by all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really thinking about, oh yeah, I need to record. I apologize. I did go ahead and talk to my electrolysis place, and the person who basically runs it, she listened to my concerns and she offered me what she could. Basically, there's a waiting list pretty much everywhere in this area, even non credited places, because there's such a desperation for electrolysis that it's impossible to meet the demand, especially with as little availability, especially of credited options that there is. So basically, I had been going every Tuesday for the last almost year. In June it would be a year. And most of it was with this training girl. And the person in charge said, I basically said, I don't want to be still trying to get surgeries by 45. And and she was like, well, electrolysis won't take that long. And I was like, yeah, but I have 3 surgeries ahead of me, and between electrolysis and the surgeries, I'm scared that it would. She said, okay, well, I have an opening on Saturdays and it's with me and not the training person. So it would still be covered by my Medicaid because it's still at the credited place, but I still have to drive basically an hour and a half to get there. The gas money is cheaper than the cost of electrolysis appointments. It sucks that it's so time consuming. Like, that part is horrible, but at the same time, at least I could go. Well, the very first time she offered me that, I went to go drive there, and there was this really big wreck plus construction, and essentially I sat in non moving traffic for an hour and a half. It just did not ever move. It took an hour and a half of me sitting in that, and there was no movement. So I just sat there texting with her and being like, I'm really sorry. I don't know how I can get there. And finally, it was like, but you probably shouldn't even bother trying to come. The appointment would be pushed back so far. I have another client. There's no way I could see you today. And so then I was trying to fight through this horrible traffic just to be able to get off somewhere, um, and turn around and go home. It was 3 exits from the exit off of where I get onto the freeway and to as far as I got in the entire hour and a half. That's how bad the traffic was, completely shut down. Like, nothing would move. So then I was like depressed. I mean, I was really depressed. And she had called off electrolysis 2 whole weeks up to that point. So it meant another third week of no electrolysis. I was very upset. And so she heard me talking about it, and I was like, I can't afford it, but I'm going to have to start paying out of pocket for electrolysis. There's no way. Um, I've been saving up money for a computer, and I'm just going to put it toward a few treatments. And would it be better if they started at the other end of my arm? Like, would that keep it from bothering what's been going down on over here? And she's just like, okay, I am hearing everything you're saying, and okay, from now on, it'll be every other Saturday because I do have other clients and I do have a waiting list of people trying to get in. Everywhere's a waiting list, it seems like, in this entire state. And she said every other Saturday, the appointment spot's yours. That traffic thing was a fluke. Like, it's not your fault that other people drive like idiots and ruin the ability to function for everyone else. So she didn't hold it against me. She didn't charge me anything for canceling same day, last minute kind of a thing. And she was very understanding about it, which was nice. So now I go every other Saturday plus every Tuesday. And on Tuesdays, I'm still with the training person, which sucks. But on the Saturdays, every other Saturday, I'm with her. And she does like twice as much of my arm as the training person does. So it's better than it was. And there's starting to be some sort of noticeable less hairs. It is starting to get more noticeable in the areas that they had been doing for this whole time. But again, that's basically this much of my arm, and the whole rest of my arm has never been touched by electrolysis ever at all. And I've been going since June. So it's really frustrating, but at least there's something more happening now. Um, if it doesn't seem like more progress is happening within like the next 2 months, I'm probably still going to try to make some sort of attempt at going to extra electrolysis appointments somewhere and getting on like waiting lists at some place that's closer here where I live. But it's non-credited. I would have to pay fully out of pocket. It's expensive. I don't really have a lot of options when it comes to this. And it is the big, huge, giant thing holding me back. If it wasn't for this, I could just move forward. But at least she did agree to do more, and at least it's again covered by Medicaid because man, it is expensive. That being said, everything else seems to be fine. Um, I've been letting my mustache grow out a little more, even though it's completely blonde and it's pretty see through. Having the longer hairs, I think, makes it slightly more noticeable. I don't know. But in reality, you can't really see it, no matter how long the hairs are. But it, I don't know. It's for whatever reason, I've just felt like it. I was really torn. I was writing my final and I went to talk to a tutor about it for one of my classes. And we were talking a little bit about my childhood because it was included in the essay I was writing, just little snippets of it, not the whole thing. And the tutor was like, "Oh, so this is, just reflective of you as a little boy." And it made me like happy, but it also felt man, I felt so torn because on the one hand, I was a boy. No one knew it, but I was a boy. But on the other hand, technically at that time, no one knew it, and I wasn't being called a boy. So it felt slightly like lying, but I didn't say it. He did. I just said my childhood. I didn't establish like a reference to gender or sex. And I've had enough surgery that at this point, by both sex and gender, I am male. But it's like a little hard to know how honest to be about it with people. But I didn't say anything and I decided that that was fine. But it took me a while to get to that decision, long after the conversation had been over for days, you know. But I realized that I've never like asked people at college if they think I look trans or not, and I usually can tell because the people who do usually think I look trans, they they make it known in a negative way. So every once in a while it does come up. Like there was this one tutor who was just super abrupt with me. And every other tutor, I've worked with almost every tutor at the whole system, and they all like treat me really well and are positive and all that. And there was this one tutor who was just really abrupt with me and basically wanted me to hang up the Zoom call and not be tutoring with them, just wanted to get rid of me. And, I talked to one person at the school a couple of months ago, and he definitely was thrown off by my situation. And we did actually talk about my being intersex a little bit and stuff. And he really was pretty uncomfortable with it, but he was also pretty openly like Christian. And when he messaged me, he like emailed me this week. He was just so different than most people are when they email me, like super only straight to the point, and it basically looked like a copy paste. um, no actual talking to me, but that's okay. Some people just deal with it as best they can as they can. But it was really pleasant for someone to just assume, oh yeah, I've always been this way. And there are some people who've talked to me before about like some of my behaviors, and I've had to say, oh, I have an underdeveloped nervous system and that I was born abnormal, and then it's really not gone any further than that. I did have a teacher who I basically have these two teachers who've been like going out of their way to mentor me, and neither one of them, oddly enough, has asked about it. I've mentioned, oh, I had unusual circumstances of my birth, and they've neither one questioned that. But I had this third teacher who saw the first two mentoring me, and she decided, oh, I need to be doing that too. I'm not sure what instilled that, but I've been. She was my English teacher, and I am having her as a teacher again next quarter because she's been so excited about my writing and actually helped me like submit things for publishing. And I had the first one who helped me submit for publishing already, but that was a research paper, and this is more like writing, like essays and poetry and stories and stuff. And she because I've been writing about like I've apparently been exploring my identity and my childhood a lot in my writing. It came up. So she started talking to me about it. And on the one hand, she seems super nice. And on the other hand, I don't know her as well as the other two professors who've been mentoring me. So I was a little guarded. But even though I was a little uncomfortable, I didn't want to not talk to her about it and then her feel like left out or discomforted or something. Especially because, again, she's going to be my teacher again next quarter. And she's already said she wants to help me publish more. And so, it's a little weird, but I talked to her a little bit about it, and then it turned into being quite a bit about it. And I didn't mean for that to happen, but it just sort of did. She seems very interested, and I think she wants me to like eventually write a memoir or something about the experience of being intersex. Um, I don't know. She just seems very interested. But at one point, I had a full blown like panic attack in front of her, and that was not comfortable at all. And I try very hard to never let that happen. That maybe I can have a slight bit of an anxiety attack in front of another person, but not a full blown panic attack. And even the anxiety attack in front of another person, it needs to be someone that I really know, I really trust, I'm really close with, and I still try not to let it happen because I don't like inconveniencing people. I don't like making people feel uncomfortable. And she handled it well. She at first started to like joke about it and then realized, oh, wait, this guy can't breathe. And so she just stopped talking and she just waited. And I just slowly backed out while I was gasping for air and bending my face over my knees and trying to breathe and stop freaking out. And I backed all the way out of her office and around the corner from the doorway until my back hit a filing cabinet. And then I just, you know, calmed myself down and started coughing and started having asthma because I was trying to get air back in my lungs. But yeah, I like full blown could not breathe. And she waited. And when I came back in, I said, believe it or not, I have two therapists and I'm in counseling. And she said, that's good. But yeah, it's a, I hate it so much. I hate having a panic attack in front of other people. And she thankfully didn't be like, oh God, is this guy gonna die? But I hate it so much. I really do. But yeah. I did start therapy with this second therapist, and she is very comfortable with writing letters, so that's good because at some point I'm going to need renewed letters because they only last for a year. Um but also she's covered by Medicaid and the other therapist is not. So starting next week, my so start basically this week was my last every week with the one that is paid for out of pocket, and start next week I won't see her, and then the next week after I will. So it's every other week, so that's half as much out of my pocket because she's been helpful. It's not like she's not a good therapist. It's just even on a sliding scale, it's a lot. And I'm a student, and like right now I'm not working because I'm a tutor and it's spring break. So I will start working again once tutoring starts up again, which means once school starts up again. And I will also be a student. I'm doing a bunch of school. So, you know, I'm not the richest person in the world at the moment, but I don't have any debt. I have emergency fund, all that kind of stuff. So I'm managing, but having this other therapist actually be covered by Medicaid has been super helpful. And the school did help me get her because most therapists around here have waiting lists and are expensive. And so thank you, school, for helping me get to her. But she's a little bit older of a woman and she seems nice. She seems to not be distressed by me talking about my life, which is, an important thing for me with a therapist because my life, unfortunately, the majority of it was pretty distressing. And she seems completely fine with my being intersex and stuff like that. So, so far it's been going well. I've talked to her, I think, two or three times. So started with her, and that'll make it so I have two therapists that can give me letters when it is time for this re-upping the surgery, like right away. So that'll be good. Um, my doctor saw me, but I don't remember if that was for the last recording or this one. But basically, I'm doing really well health wise, except for electrolysis. I'm doing awesome. Testosterone levels are good. I'm at like, what was it, 699 or something like that. And my anemia is way calmed down. My bone density has gone up more, and between the bone density going up and the lovely, extra repercussion of that the anemia is less bad, that's great. All my stats, my blood sugar, blood pressure, all that are all perfect, and yay me. I I am glad all of that stuff's true. I have a 4.0 in college so far, and I am still the president of the club, and that's all going swimmingly. One of my professors who's mentoring me, the sweet and gentle one who has been having regular one-on-ones with me, already said she can't wait to be my teacher next quarter because she's going to be my teacher, and then also that she wants to continue doing that. The other one who's been mentoring me did not do that one-on-one time this quarter like she did in the fall, but she said in the spring she'd like to do it again. and that she misses doing it. And then she also had me submit to speak at a conference, to present do a presentation, and I've never done a presentation at a conference like that. I have been the background person at conferences lots of times, and I am doing that with the club that I am president of right now, but this will be my first time being the one on the stage doing more than introducing people or emceeing, like actually being the presenter. So let's hope I get it. I don't know if I will, but I mean it's possible because she's the one who suggested it for me. So, and it's a conference that she'll be at. So it would be nice if my first one was where someone I know and know believes in me is there. But hopefully I'll get to speak on financial justice, like to people. um, I also, because of the English teacher, submitted for my first paid publication. And I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm submitted to an anthology, and there's like actual prize winnings and stuff if you make it into the anthology. They like what I wrote, and I submitted to a journal, and I'm supposed to submit to two other things. But yeah, so that part of things is like going really well. It's amazing how well I'm doing in like college. Like I'm doing exceptionally well in college, and overall my health is like going really well. A lot of things are going really well, and electrolysis is still the thing that's like the iron ball shackled to my ankle, and I'm trying to drag it along. Come on, keep up, electrolysis. Everything else has got momentum. What do I got to do to get you to cooperate? I just, so annoying. Anywho, for the most part, things seem to be going well. So well that I forgot to even record. But I'm recording now. I'm trying now. Hopefully next month I remember better. Anywho,